This is the, good evening, this is the Auburn School Building Master Plan Team meeting of August 5th, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the meeting is being taped. Is there anyone else taping? There is not. Any citizen comments? There are no citizen comments. We have the minutes of June 17th. If anyone would like to make any changes or entertain a motion to approve them.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
It's already been
I'll second it then.
motioned and not seconded too.
It doesn't speak up?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. Okay, next item on the agenda is the parking lot updates.
You were right. Upgrades.
Upgrades and updates, yeah, there you go. As you can see from the picture that we had sent out, they have done a substantial amount of work. This picture actually is the infiltration system that goes under the front parking lot, but it also handles all the water from the rear parking lot. So, and there's a big chunk of the money that we're spending to put it in. So, and was also probably the thing that took the most time. As far as where they stand, they've done all the site prep. They've removed whatever they needed to remove and ground all the pavement. They've installed a complete drainage system, and they've gravelled the base. As of today, the front parking lot was gravelled and compacted, and we're expecting tomorrow the back one will be done, and Thursday is they're anticipated to put the binder down, which is the first layer of pavement. And what that does is gives them all their grades for the sidewalks and the curbs and all that. So that should be done Monday and Tuesday of next week. We met with them at a job meeting yesterday morning, I believe, Joe, and they're projecting that the end of next week, they may have a couple of days going into the forward with the week after that. So somewhere around the 16th, 17th, or 18th, they should be done. The only issues they have at this point, they haven't got a ship date on the light poles, which really can be put in at any time. They've already put most of the bases in. I think they have 3 to go there. And then they need to line up, they have the whole thing striped, but we're in pretty good shape here. So, as far as any issues, we did find an old underground tank from the previous septic system that was drained and filled, and there are, we had initially thought that the front sidewalk would remain, but the curb was really deteriorated to the point that it had to come out. And then once you pull the curb, it makes sense to replace the sidewalk. So those are the only 2 things that have been added to the project. So we're in pretty good shape. Joe, anything to add to that? Or?
No, as you said, we had a job meeting, and it's really depending on the weather too.
Yep.
That's one thing that they did mention.
Yeah.
But they feel really comfortable that they're going to pull this off on time.
When's the anticipated date of completion?
The contract date is the 15th,
Okay.
and they're projecting 16th or 17th. We had put the 15th in just to give ourselves, a week or 10 days, just in case. So, but I mean, they've been in there 4.5, 5 weeks now, so it's going pretty well actually.
No, when starting on the inside of the school?
No other questions on the sidewalk? No?
How many parking spaces?
I believe there are 103, Mark, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
We can do the inside after Mary Ellen and Joe put together a memo to the abutters. It's been a pretty noisy project, so I don't know if you want to discuss that or what your thinking was, or...
So, actually, I'll start, and then Mr. Fahey, you jump in, please, but on one of the visits to the site, Mr. Fahey and perhaps Mr. Ringard was there too, there was a neighbor who had come and asked questions about the project, right? And you were sharing with them, they had some vibrations.
Yeah, correct. I mean, we would visit the site daily, and at the end of the day, I'd stop in, and I've been greeted by a couple neighbors asking some concerns about the project, what was involved. So we thought it was best if the superintendent drafts a letter, to all the abutters explaining in detail about the project. It did go to planning board. It was out there what we were doing, but I think some of the neighbors just, when they drove by and saw the big pile, a couple of them thought it was a swimming pool, a couple of them thought they had no idea.
I wish.
So I think the letter that Dr. Bedell put together really explained it very well, and it kind of stopped the questions. So it was safe for me to go there at the end of the night. So if you want to explain the letter?
Yeah, so in here, what we thought we'd do is not only explain about the parking lot, but also try to highlight for them some of the other major updates that we're going to make. Highlight the fact that our goal is to keep it within the value of repurposed CIP funds that town meeting has approved. Share with them about the MSBA accelerated repair, that we might have some additional repairs, highlighting the savings that would come to the town, and just try to, keep them informed of the process. So my guess is it was positively received from people. We sent it to, there were 30 or so, 30 plus homes in the immediate area that we sent it to. So I've really not gotten any feedback on it, which I'm assuming is a good thing.
It seems very thorough.
Yeah.
Very nice letter.
Oh, good, thanks.
Did Joe write that?
Yeah.
And then, last night, the one abutter who really had some complaints, we met with them and walked them through, and their real, one concern was that the tree line along Rock Ave Extension was gonna come out, which it isn't, but it is gonna get trimmed. And so we met with them and walked the site and showed it to them and everything, and I think we're in pretty good shape. And that, along with the idea that it's, it's really 2 weeks away from being finished. So I think it seemed like a good thing when we left last night. So.
It really was. It was
Yeah.
very positive.
I think so.
Because that neighborhood's been dealing with the construction of a new house, too.
That's true.
Yep.
One lot up
Yep.
from the school, so
Yep.
between,
Yep.
there must have been vehicles and everywhere,
Yeah.
going every
Yeah.
which way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they certainly had some legitimate concerns. I mean,
Yeah.
they thought that the whole tree line was actually coming down,
Yeah.
where it's just getting thinned out, really, so the buses can make that turn and go out. And then they also discovered there's a dead tree that has to be removed too.
Yeah.
So
So really-
once it was explained,
Good.
everything was good with it.
Any other questions on the site work? As far as the building work, the RFP for the architect went out. We had hoped to have the bids, whatever bids we're going to get, opened by now. There was a timing thing, both getting it into the central register and then getting it out of the central register. So those bids are due on the 8th. We've had a walkthrough. We did have one architect show up. I know that we have a couple others interested. I don't know how many proposals we're actually going to have. But those are due this Friday. In the RFP, it has the particular criteria that we'll use to select the architect and then negotiate a price with him. We did put it out to bid with an expected budget of $25,000, and we still have people that are interested, so hopefully that's where it's going to end up. I would think that at some point next week we should sit down and early next week and go over those. So I know Joe and Joe will sit in. If anyone else wants, just let me know, and I'll certainly let you know when we're going to do it. So, timeline from there, as far as the architect and all that, as I said, the bids are due on the 8th. We would expect the architect to have the documents and the plans complete on November 15th, which will give us a couple of weeks, and then we'll put it out to bid December with probably a bid opening in January, which is really the slowest time of year for construction, the best time to bid it. So, and that also is going to give us, we'll know what the numbers are in January, and which gives us a couple of months to adjust things if we have to. So, and then we expect to be, as soon as the kids leave, we'll come in.
Correct.
So,
Yep. No snow.
No
No snow
snow.
days this
No
year.
snow.
You have to walk praying over there?
It's
You heard it here first.
June 8th is the...
June 8th is the students' last day,
Yep.
barring no snow
Yep.
days.
Yep.
I've been wondering where that big umbrella went that used to go over Auburn.
Yeah.
Well, it was the time we didn't have snow days.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's about where we are with the building. Are there any questions or comments? Or, you know, we have a basic scope of work. We expect that as the plans get developed, we can sit down and look at them, and if somebody has ideas or whatever, you know, without changing the basic scope, I think we could certainly accommodate those. The next issue on the agenda, we had suggested in the spring that maybe we wanted to have a small subcommittee that would look at other towns that have decommissioned buildings. And I think at that point, we thought that we would wait until late summer, so we're sort of in late summer. So I don't know what the thought is. If Mary Ellen, you'd be happy to work with a small group, you think?
I would.
If-
I'd be
yeah.
happy to reach out through the listserv to local communities who have gone through this decommissioning process. And really what I would see us doing is gathering the steps they went through, the timeline that they had, and then presenting the information to Town Manager Jacobson, because once the school committee makes or takes their vote, assuming that they do, to turn those facilities back to the town, then it would become a town issue as part of a broader master plan, I would say. So, but I think it would be helpful information for us to have, and we'd also, as a master plan team, share it with the school committee in terms of the timeline of when to do things, costs to carry and such like that.
But you wouldn't turn it over to the school, till the middle school's done, right?
Well, that's the thing. So this is the new middle school is projected to be substantially completed on July 7th of 15. So not until much later in the spring when we have a reasonable assurance that everything is on track and should be all set. I anticipate that the school committee I would recommend that they wait until very late in the spring to be able to say, not only do we need to worry about this building, we're also going to need to worry about 10 Swanson Road. So we've got a lot that's going to happen next summer. So at the earliest, it would be late spring and may even be in the summer of 15 before they actually make that decision, because obviously we need a place to educate the students.
Yeah, just in case I wasn't ready.
Exactly. That's just what we're going to be watching. We have meetings weekly, and currently the middle school is on time and on budget, and maybe even under budget a little bit, but everything's on time. So we'll continue to watch that.
So, good, Mr. Chairman, through you. Do you anticipate both schools being decommissioned at the same time?
You know, parents have asked that, and really, it's such a domino effect. I mean, if everything was to go absolutely perfectly and smoothly, we could potentially decommission both of them at the same time. What I don't want to do is get into a situation, so we'll be moving the middle school, and that would be primarily teachers' materials and books and things to the new middle school, because that will largely be new. Then we'll be taking Julia Bancroft and Package Hut materials and furniture and whatnot, and bringing it to 10 Swanson Road. So that could all happen. Bryn Mawr is staying where it is. The one that's it's an additional one, is the Mary G. Stone one. And what I wouldn't do is move those students partway through the year to disrupt, teachers setting up classrooms and things to do that part.
Oh, yeah.
Some schools and communities have done that.
Sure.
I wouldn't do that one. So I think if anything, whether that had to be delayed, I think it's possible we could do it all. but if anything, that might be a potential delay. So it's really going to play out in terms of how much work. I think, too, the numbers that we get in January and the timeline, I mean, this parking lot project, in terms of the timeline, has stayed right on track. So, you know, if everything is to happen the same way, now if we have, 12 days of snow next year, I hope we don't, that's going to shorten the summer. So I get, there's so many what ifs, quite honestly, right now. So we'll continue to watch it.
Thank you.
So could we leave it that if anyone wants to sit on that committee, they can get in
Reach out,
touch with
yeah.
you in the next week or so?
That would be great.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Would this committee determine what they're gonna do with the building, or?
No, through the chair, what they would really do is just to help gather some information to provide guidance to the school committee and eventually to the town manager, or whatever team she assembles, on the steps to go through in terms of decommissioning, the time that it took, maybe what did they do with the furniture and things? Was there anything that they could salvage, or, selling the building, repurposing it? So it would really be an information gathering, because the decision to turn it back to the town is one that the school committee would make if they no longer need it for educational purposes. And then I would assume that in communications with Town Manager Jacobson, she'd likely be forming a team to say, now what do we do with those buildings? Is there another town need that could be served? Or looking at the different options.
Any other comments on that?
Is there a list of towns that have gone through it?
No, but I bet it would be something that you could pick out pretty quick.
Yeah, I would anticipate if the superintendents are all on one listserv, so if I pose a question out to them, I'd be able to get back, some local communities, so we'd have a list to go from. And then we'd probably generate some questions and reach out and gather information.
I'm sure after we do it, if someone came to us in 2 years and said, what would you do differently? There would be things that we would do differently.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely, yep.
Sure. A lot of things that we would say, thank God we did that. Any new business? Anything, anybody? No?
Did you have any updates on the kitchen area, cafeteria area?
On the kitchen equipment?
Yeah, the whole site.
She's been talking for some time with a kitchen equipment supplier that hopefully we'll be able to do the drawings that would fit into the new drawings. And it's gone back and forth. They couldn't do a whole lot until we knew exactly what our scope was, so we finally knew that at the last meeting. It's well along. It needs some tweaking, no doubt, and I think that's probably something that will happen internally over the next month or so.
Because wasn't she way over budget?
I'm sorry?
Wasn't she like way over budget on that?
At the time, yeah, back in January, the initial thought process they were using, and she knows that, she needs to go back and look at some of the existing equipment and exactly how that's going to play out. I think we'll know a whole lot better at the next meeting.
Through the chair, one thing to add to, Mr. Fahey and I recently met with her, and if you remember, it may have been almost a year or so ago now, that every piece of equipment in the elementary schools was given either a green, which meant it was definitely worth saving, a yellow, maybe worth saving, and a red was not worthwhile. And when Joe and I met with her, we have, I'm comfortable in saying that everything that was determined green to say worth reusing will be reused. So the red we knew we weren't going to use, and some of the yellow items we're looking to repurpose those too. So I think that's a step in the right direction to get the budget down as reasonable as possible.
Any other comments on that? No? Next meeting, we don't know when the SPC is meeting.
We don't yet, no. They typically had been meeting the third Tuesday of the month. This one changed this time, so I mean, it's up to you if...
Mr. Chairman, what about next Tuesday? We have an SBC meeting, correct?
Yeah, we have an SBC meeting next week on the 12th.
At 7. And
At 7. So,
if we get bids for the architect,
yeah, that's the one
Friday.
at 6, yeah.
6? 6, he said
they're
7.
reviewed
I'm
Friday
sorry,
and
I didn't
Monday.
hear you. Say again, Mike?
If we receive the bids for the architect this Friday,
Right,
and then if there's a positive there,
yeah.
then a decision could be made on the 12th to move that along.
We could, I guess so 2 things. First, and I will extend an invitation to all of you here, SBC will do their walkthrough of the new middle school, remember, next week at 6, so we wouldn't be able to have a master plan team meeting. So if any of you are interested, just let me know. We need to have hard hats available for you to walk the site with us. And I need to know that by Thursday. But I think the thought would be, Mr. Ringo, correct me if I'm wrong, but this subcommittee that you formed who will review will actually be the group that will make the recommendation to the school committee who would accept the bid on the 13th. We have a school committee meeting.
That was the thought process,
Okay.
but I mean, certainly anybody wants to sit in on
Right.
it, they're welcome to.
Yep.
So,
But I guess my question was, does this committee need to vote on that recommendation to the school committee? Or no?
I think so long as, this is an advisory board, so long as, assuming people are comfortable granting that authority to the subcommittee, I think that would be fine to do.
Do we need that?
is everyone comfortable with that? Yep.
You comfortable with that?
I got planning board.
Yeah, he's
No,
got plenty of work.
You're comfortable with,
I don't, to meet again in a week just for that, be a
Yeah.
3-minute meeting.
right. Yeah,
If it's short, I can go,
Yeah.
as long as, I have to be at the planning board.
It isn't, the evaluation here isn't like choosing the architect for the
Right.
new school or anything.
Right.
It's a pretty small project, and we're gonna end up with I would assume we're gonna end up with a 1 or 2-man group doing it, so.
Be blue,
I'm sorry?
are they gonna be blue?
Yeah, there you go. So if people are comfortable with that, that's, I think our plan, if we could meet Monday or Tuesday, and the school committee is meeting Wednesday?
Wednesday evening, yes.
Yeah. So in theory, we could have something out to an architect. And if there's an issue, if it seems like
Well, yeah.
we need to come back and kick it all around, but I don't think it's gonna, it's not that elaborate.
Do we need 3 bids?
No,
No,
Okay.
through the chair, we put it out in the central register, so everything is done legally. It's a matter of how many comes back
Yeah.
that we review. And as Mr. Ringard stated, we will get a couple back,
yeah.
and we will follow the criteria, and we'll grade them,
Yeah.
and we'll make our recommendation.
And we did make it known to 4 or 5 people that we thought would fit that scope, to
Right.
do that type of projects.
Right in the RFP, we actually put the criteria right in there, and the questions that we were going to be asking.
And that is online if anybody wants to see it. So that being the case, the next meeting, then, they normally meet the 3rd
Typically,
Tuesday,
it's the 3rd Tuesday, I think,
which
Rachel?
would be,
The 19th,
The 19th.
The 19th of September, is that right?
August,
No, September.
Oh, September.
Yeah.
you're going into September?
That's a Friday.
um,
Third Tuesday is the
right?
16th.
Yeah, it's the 16th.
September 16th then,
Yep.
probably. I mean, that's not set in stone unless you want us to wait for that and be in touch. I'm happy to do it either way.
I had just as soon set it for
Set
the
it? Okay.
16th and be
Good.
done. Is that okay
Yeah.
with everyone?
It's fine.
Okay,
So you're doing 16th of September,
16th of September.
at 3 in the afternoon.
6 p.m.
6 in the afternoon.
6 p.m.
Yep. Any other issues? Anything?
That's a day before the sacred day.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned.